I recently landed a sales call worth $20,000, all from a high-ticket offer I crafted using AI and deep research. In this video, I'm breaking down my step-by-step deep research method for you to craft your own high-ticket offer in your niche. No crazy technical skills required. You'll see how I used open deep research to validate market demand, analyze competitors' offers, and craft my own high-ticket offer that clients are eager to pay for in my industry. And this is the same deep research I was using to build my directory website, so the two things can go hand in hand. A high-ticket offer that you can sell while your directory, your website starts generating more and more traffic through SEO or organic content or whatever marketing you're doing. On the technical side of things, there's a very small learning curve in this video, but on the entrepreneurial side of things, I highly recommend you have a basic understanding of how a business works, provides value to people, how to identify the pain points of your avatar. If you are not familiar with that stuff, check out Alex Hormozy and come back to this video. Okay, so that's enough talking, let's get started. The very first step, which we'll just cover briefly, is especially if you don't have a business already, make sure you're tuning into a signal out there. Make sure that somewhere on the internet, people actually want what you can provide. So whether you're checking SEO keywords, or you're observing trends on X or YouTube, or you're creating your own content and noticing that there is a signal for it. This is the step one to validating our idea in the market. Once again, make sure you have all that under control to achieve optimal results from this tutorial. The first thing we're going to do is install Open Deep Research. Now, you probably know what deep research is from Perplexity or even ChatGPT or maybe just Greg Eisenberg's podcast. Today, as usual, I like to use open source alternatives whenever possible. So as you can see, Open Deep Research does the same thing as all the rest. It's made by LangChain, which is a respectable organization in the industry. And we're going to give it a topic, we're going to make a plan, and then it's going to do all the research for us. And what's cool about this is it's only going to use the credits that we have on Tavily. It doesn't use much. If you've never used Tavily before, you're going to get 1,000 free credits, which should be enough to get you through this tutorial. If not, it's pretty accessible. As you can see, I already had to start buying other credits. And then using Anthropic or ChatGPT, you're going to need API keys. Setting up Open Deep Research on your computer is the hardest part of this tutorial, and it's really not hard at all. If it's your first time running a script from GitHub, for example, it might take a few minutes to work your way around the terminal, but it's really not that hard. If you don't want to deal with it, just use Perplexity or use ChatGPT, use whatever you want. Every time you see in this tutorial Open Deep Research, it's just because that's my preferred tool. It's also probably cheaper, but do whatever you want. We're going to start with Open Deep Research. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to copy. I'm just going to download the zip. You could just clone it on Cursor. I'm going to download the zip. I unzip it and I'm just going to drag the folder into the Cursor window. Easy. And as you can see, we have our file now. We have our Cursor agent and we've got a README here. By the way, if you haven't gotten comfortable with the command line yet, check out my 5-day bootcamp. It's 5 minutes a day, and it'll just teach you the basics you need to start using the command line, which is very important if you want to start harnessing AI the right way. So you could ask the Cursor agent, hey, how do I get started? And it'll just tell you. This is really easy. It'll tell you right here. All you got to do, we're going to fix our .env file with our API keys. I am going to add in my API keys to the .env file. So once you've got your values in the .env file, just rename it to .env. So here I go. I'm going to install the UV package manager here in the Cursor terminal. All you got to do is go into the README section of the repo, either here in Cursor or on GitHub, and copy these commands that they give us for installation. Install the dependencies and start the LangGraph server. I copy that, paste it here in my command line. It's installing everything it needs now, and then you'll see it opens up a new window in your browser. So this is actually connecting to the LangChain server. That's where the interface is, but the API for what we're doing is running locally. So in the URL, you can actually see, this is what the URL looks like. You can see here we have this, well, it's a little sloppy there, but it's this HTTP 127.0.1 port 2024. That's local on your server. So everything that's happening is running locally. Technically, we are connecting to Tavily and to Anthropic, but otherwise the API, the actual processing is happening locally on our computer. So first thing we do, click start. And we got to give it a topic. So once you've tapped into your signal, it's really important to understand that you're not going to have this all figured out right away. We are about to do multiple deep research reports. We're going to go back and forth with Claude a lot. We're going to figure all this out. but we're going to do so in a way that enables us to be building as we figure it out without wasting time. So the first thing to do with your deep research topic is just say, all right, this is what I'm finding. This is what I'm kind of seeing and observing online. Let's explore that. Let's explore that from the perspective of selling something. Let's explore it from the perspective of, do people want this? Who wants it? And just start broad. We're going to work our way to a sub niche to start with as we build. So on Ahrefs, I've already got a little thing like Learn AI, best way to learn about AI. So difficulty is only 26. There's still some traffic potential. A Reddit thread is the #1 rank. Even though I plan on generating more traffic from YouTube and X, this is still going to be a good strategy here to have a search engine optimized website that does teach you how to learn about AI. So you guessed it, the signal I've tapped into is learning AI for entrepreneurs. And that's the topic I'm going to be building this directory and a high ticket offer around. So back to our open deep research prompt. Explore the best methods for learning AI in 25, keeping in mind that some methods become obsolete as AI is continue to advance and proliferate. Define the most efficient way how to harness AI in the age of... Could probably prompt that better. In fact, maybe I will in Claude. I want to do deep research. Help me refine this prompt. Okay, we're going to just refine this prompt a little bit before we plug that in. Okay, now we're going to refine this even more. We're going to say, let's focus on learning AI for entrepreneurs, creators, solopreneurs, business owners who want to build their own tools but need the foundational skill sets and knowledge. So we're just going to refine that a little better. Okay, perfect. So this is pretty refined there. I'm going to paste that into the topic. And now it's kind of cool. It shows you the whole flow of how this goes. Good, it's showing us the progress here. Okay, so after it does, after you give it the topic, then it generates the report plan. And then you see there's a little feedback loop thing here because now it needs our approval. So the AI imperative for entrepreneurs in 2025. So now I press continue and it needs me to say true. Now this is a little confusing because it has like these JSON curly things, but you just need to say true here, press resume, and then it continues with building section research. Now I'm pretty sure you could give it feedback. I mean, it wants you to give it feedback, and if you give it feedback, then it'll go back to the generate report plan, and then it'll recreate that plan, and then it'll go back to feedback until you say true. But this looks good for our purposes now, so I say true. Now it already searched the web, it looks like, and it's writing a section. It's probably going to keep searching the web, write a section, keep searching the web, writing a section. And if we go over here to our APIs, you'll see we're at 24 credits. I think that was just at 12 a minute ago. And that's just going to continue rising. So let's see where it's at. Build section with web research. We're just going to have to let it go. It's been going for almost a minute. Now we're at 30 credits. So yeah, you can see how these go up. It's an 1/8 of a cent for every credit, basically. Cool. So it's pretty much formatting all this in JSON and Markdown within the JSON. So it'll give us sources. And all of this is going to be very important for this website we're going to build. You know, maybe we're not even going to build an actual directory in the traditional sense. I really want to create AICaptains.com. I'm not sure what to call it because I want to have resources for people like you, like me. We want to build, we want to get better at vibe coding. We don't want to become developers or programmers, but we're entrepreneurs. We want to have businesses, but we want to learn how to do this stuff so we don't always have to hire people, because some of it's fun too and really fulfilling, I find. So if you're of that personality type, I kind of want AI Captains to be for you. All of this information is going to be important because we're still going to scrape the web for it so we can put it in a website to provide value to people, like I said, for the people like me that would love a resource hub for this exact niche of AI. So for example, we have futurepedia.io. This is this is a fantastic directory with everything here, all kinds of resources for AI, but this isn't targeted at like who I'm looking for. So for example, like AI for businesses, this is really cool, but it's a little too deep. I mean, some of these are good, but I don't know. This doesn't hit right. It feels too corporate. It doesn't feel like it's for me. This is a fantastic website. Don't get me wrong. I want to build something different. So we're kind of going to vibe build our way to a new type of website here. All right. This looks like it's done. It's written. It's gathered the sections. It's written the sections. Once again, if we go to Tavily, we've used 34 credits. Not bad. It mostly used Anthropic. So here we go. We got our final report in Markdown here. I'm going to copy all that. I'm going to paste it And if I just go into Notion, I can paste all this and it will format it. So we can look at our report here. AI competency development for entrepreneurs, a strategic guide for okay, so we've got our report. This is fantastic. So now I'm going to paste it back into Claude here. Say, here is the report. We want to create a website that offers value to people from this data, which will include information about and links to relevant resources for builders. So I'm just going to mess around with Claude here and say, hey, let's build this website. It's kind of directory. It's not really directory, but we want it to offer value to people. So it's taken the report and it's helping me envision a website that provides value for entrepreneurs looking to develop AI competencies. Great. AI Builders Compass. We're probably just going to call it AI Captains, but that's okay. And now it's literally just creating a prototype for this site. Okay, so here we go. It's got this preview, core skills, data fluency, workflow automation, AI ethics and governance. Okay, this is cool. So as you can see, this deep research is not only important for this high ticket offer we're getting to, I promise, but it's also important for this direct to your website, because how do we get people to learn about this high ticket offer? We need to be generating traffic. We need to have some place for these people to go and learn about our offer. So we're building a website, a directory. And all this research can also be done for your content strategy. Even if you don't want to make a website or directory, you just want to make content on YouTube or X or TikTok, all this research is going to help you tune into that exact signal you need to provide a service that people want. So this is vibe building. We'll vibe code later when we know what we want to build. I think this is actually a great workflow for figuring out what exactly it is you want to build when when it's on the tip of your tongue, when it's right here, you're like, what is it I want to build? Going back and forth with a tool like Claude is great. In future videos, I'm going to show you how to make an AI agent that you could just chat with on Telegram or Discord or even SMS if you want. And it'll just do exactly this for you. We're going to call it, I don't know, the AI Captain. All right. Technical skills versus no-code solutions. So just as Claude is building, I'm just realizing I'm learning a lot from this report. For example, here at the end, it's really showing, if you're a small business, maybe you should focus on no-code platforms, focus mentorship. I don't know if I agree with that completely. The mentorship part, maybe, because then you'll eventually, as you scale, you learn to build this stuff in-house, which is what it's saying, enterprise or even mid-size hybrid approach, but you want to have in-house capability building. So this, once again, it's kind of proven my point from this report is that the bigger you scale, the more in-house you're going to want to do this stuff. And if you're a small business, which I'm assuming you are if you're watching this video, I'm imagining you're looking to scale, right? Or don't we all want to scale and make more money, provide more value to people? I think. So this is very enlightening for my vibe build process and discovering what's the value I can provide out there and who's it for. So let's explore this a bit. So I would say we're probably targeting these low code people. I don't even think so. When to choose custom guidelines. So far, this is actually turning into a pretty valuable resource here. Case studies. Wow. So this is great. And now I'm just going to say, hey, Claude, let's take us to the next level. What online data could be scraped to enhance the value proposition of this website? Okay, so we've got a good amount of research done, and this is where we'll fork, if you will, where we'll split the path. And in another video, you can watch how to do all the scraping. In this video, we're going to continue on building the high ticket offer. It's really important to do that scraping, whether it's for the website directory or for the high ticket offer, because that scraping from Coursera, from GitHub, from Reddit especially, you're going to get discussions, you're going to get data where it'll really show you the pain points of the people you're trying to talk to, the people you're trying to reach. So that's a really important part of this process. But for this video, we're going to stay focused on the deep research part and validating the market, the price, the offer itself, et cetera, et cetera. So let's keep going. So we're going to start looking at the competitors, not because they're our competition. We don't even have a business yet, but we want to see what the industry is like. What is this space like? So we got a 6-week MIT online short course, lame AI courses from Forbes, Coursera. There's an AI Gemini thing. Okay, so once again, we got Reddit here, we got YouTube videos, once again, confirming that those are probably going to be our most valuable resources in the beginning. Oh, Quora. But still, I don't see anything besides mainly just sponsored posts for AI courses. So if I were to say best ways for entrepreneurs to learn AI, there's a waitlist at IBM, AI for entrepreneurs. Let's check that out. Best way to train as a small business. So this is more data sources that we can start looking at. I want to be an entrepreneur and an AI developer. So these are all articles, and that'll come in later when we have to start making content. So if we get back into that top Google result, this is 2 years old. It's still ranking as #1. We got people saying stuff here. This would be a good thread to scrape. So I'm just going to keep that open. We're going to come back to that. Here is that link, an AI for entrepreneurs, a comprehensive guide to getting started. This is pretty static. This is top level overview. We want to get deeper than that. We're talking to people that already know this, right? Next, we got another Reddit thread, best way to train an AI as a small business. That's a year ago. This is, I think, a lot easier than now. Like, chatbots are easy. Yeah, that's not a question I'm really going to look at now, but it is true. Using a RAG would help with making some agentic software. Then we got another using entrepreneurship to learn AI. This is a boring thread. I want to be an entrepreneur. I'm 17 and an AI developer. Great. And then there's a bot that responded with that. Let's say what the bot said. Online courses like Coursera. For the demographic I'm talking to, which is probably you watching this video, would think, do you want to take a Coursera course? I don't. So if you do, maybe I would if it's really like perfect, but it's not who I'm talking to. That's not the niche. So these are not good sources of the data I want. But someone's perspective, like this guy, I'm 17, you can do the same, Udemy. These are people trying to become like super deep in AI. We're talking about business owners. We want to run businesses using AI to automate everything efficiently. Now, here's a Google search for AI consultancies, generative AI consulting. I don't know if we need generative AI consulting, but helps businesses leverage our AI. We can just open up a bunch of these and take a look. AI consulting services helps you navigate. Oh, Lord. Okay, so this once again, it's not quite for who we want. Once you start saying machine learning and natural language processing, that's a bit too deep for what we want. So that's not a competition. That's not a source. That's nothing we want to work with there. Comprehensive product strategy. This is a bit more in line. Mojo Tech. All right. Top 10 AI consulting companies. Okay. So obviously these people are making some money. Expert AI consultancy, start assessment, brainpool.ai. Nice little case study.
We started with a scoping exercise in July, and shortly afterwards, in about October, we commissioned them to do a fairly large piece of work. We think
that's cool.
Improve our product.
All right, that's too far in the other direction. Once again, we're talking digital software. So this is important. This is really important. I'm going to open up a new chat in Claude, and I'm just going to start taking down some of these notes that I've got. Like digital software automation. We're talking not machine learning, NLPs, etc., not for devs. Business owners, AI as a tool, not an AI company. All right, I think we get an idea there. There's one other company I found on Twitter, and this guy is basically an educator in a lot of ways. He's got some tools in here, and you can like make an account and log in. But then he also has like a cohort. So feeling irrelevant to an AI master in 4 weeks. And then they've got an AI acceleration program, which is probably the closest to what we're looking at. And it's kind of expensive. It's, I think, $20,000 or something like that. But they basically bring your business up to speed with AI and all these sales things in here. Yeah, it's 8. So they've got one offer for just like a workshop for your team, and then like an implementation product, which is cool. So I kind of like how they're doing it. So what I did was I scraped these pages with Crawl for AI. That's going to be in the other tutorial. And then I took it into my Hormozi bot, which is a little bot I made on Claude that basically has all of Hormozi's books and like a bunch of transcripts and his personality in there. I said, hey, what do you think of this offer? So I gave him those 2 offers, and he gave me a complete report. The price point's too low, blah, blah, blah. There's not a good guarantee. That's the second offer. And then I said, okay, export a report of these 2 offers, their features, pain points, like who is their demographic, right? Let's really key into their demographic here. And then I got this market analysis document, and it's got some good data in here. And this is all data we're going to use for now a deep research report. So then I went into a different chat. I gave that same report from Hormozi bot to this chat. And I said, let's say this is our target market. Examine these 2 offers. Let's craft and explore our own set of offers, low, medium, high from our demographic. Now, ideally you do more than just those 2 offers. I just did 2 for this tutorial, but really all these other things we found, like this company, Mojo Tech, finding the user experience of people in there. We want to prompt Claude with as much of that information as possible, so it has an idea of what's going on. So now we've been able to dive into the overall market trends with the deep research. We've been looking at our competitors and what's going on the web. And we're about to jump into now crafting our own offer with a few more deep research reports, comparing and contrasting what's going on the web with what we can offer with the pricing structure, etc. But before we do that, I would just like to make a humble request. If you're finding value from this video, I would really appreciate a like and maybe a subscribe if you want more enhance your entrepreneurship with AI videos. And if you're really feeling like it, leaving a comment really tells the algorithm that this is cool content and more people will see it, which is obviously great for me, but it's also great for other people that want to learn this stuff. So if you're liking this video so far, thanks for giving it a thumbs up. So this chat gave us a little report on it. And then I said, now let's brainstorm a value providing website for our demographic. And this chat is in my my Jordan Herbs project folder, so it knows like kind of what we're working with here. We want to work with entrepreneurs, creators, non-technical business owners, and it started giving me ideas for a website. Cool. The website could have an AI implementation roadmap, a knowledge center, ROI calculators, community forum. So that's cool. It gave me some good ideas for what I could put in the website. But we're not there yet. We still wanna pinpoint who we're kind of talking to, who we want to sell. So then I said, all right, well, what if this was a directory? What would this stuff look like in here? And it kind of comes back to the same thing. Let's put in courses. Here's a bunch of tools. We kind of already have that stuff, like I showed earlier with Futurepedia. It's not really gonna like solve a new problem. So what I did from there was I said, okay, make a new offer from all of that. And then Claude made me a new offer. And kind of based on everything we saw in that competitor. And it had some good things, it had some bad things. And I gave it some feedback that I also got from another Claude chat. I said, let's change the prices, although I'm not even concerned about the prices yet. But let's just change some of this. Like we're still talking about coaching. By the end of this process, I get completely away from coaching or things like that. And we're really looking at just implementation services, like a temporary co-founder, temporary CTO. So here we got our revised offering. Now I said, create a deep research prompt that will explore the market and analyze the potential effectiveness of this business. So what's important to remember here is we did our initial deep research, okay, based on that idea we got from YouTube or X or whatever. Then we kind of explored, all right, let's build a website, let's scrape data, etc. Let's make this PDR. And then we're scraping the data now technically. And in the background, while we still continue figuring out the niche, we're still starting to scrape the data because the courses on Coursera, on Udemy, those might not be so valuable to us for this new website, but the reviews will be valuable for us on that website. So let me just show you real quick before I jump back into what happens with this next deep research prompt. Once we start to gather all this data, I've had this script running. And so for example, here's a content marketing course that we scraped from Coursera, and it's called Content Marketing. And you see we scraped the learning outcomes, the skills, who's the instructor, the ratings, how many reviews, intermediate, it's on Coursera, the tags. And then we got a whole bunch of reviews. And we got top 10 positive reviews and top 10 negative reviews. Now, what I really like about the negative reviews is they show you what people are actually after. So they're saying, all right, it's free, but otherwise don't do it because this is just to promo their website or to promo. It's like a lead magnet, basically. And everyone's saying that. Sales pitch for Coffee Blogger. So suffice to say, once we get to the scraping script of analyzing all the data from the reviews, we're not going to be using this course. This one's not going to make the cut because it's not a good resource for our demographic. And we don't want to just be a directory with tons of resources. We want to be a very value-rich and succinct, abundant website. So here's another one. Course material, especially crystal clear. I would take this course in the future. Excellent step-by-step introduction to corporate strategy. Cool. And then it looks like we had some errors with the negative reviews, or maybe there weren't any negative reviews. But my point is, yeah, I did not learn anything. This course was not worth the time. The instructors were not helpful. And some of the negative reviews you can see, like people want better materials. People want less confusing instructions. They want things more basic. So all this to say is just because you're scraping Coursera now doesn't mean it's going to go on the website, but the data we're going to get from those user reviews, as an example, are going to be crucial for really tapping into this sub niche we're going to try to develop with this project. So now I go back to Claude, create a deep research prompt. So it has my offers, it knows about the competition, it's got my PDR, right? It knows what we're building. Said, okay, let's conduct a thorough market analysis. And we copy all that and we go back into deep learning, we paste that in there, and it's going to make a new report. So then we take that report, we put it back into Claude, and now we say, hey, based on this research report and the history of this chat, because you know what we're working on at this point, Claude, let's craft a high ticket offer. Let's see what it's going to look like. And so then it takes all that data we've been working with, the competitors, the market analysis from using the internet, And then the project we're actually building from like a technical perspective and the general theme, this chat knows a lot about this project now. So it says, okay, here you go. What about this? What do you think of this? And so then we can look through that. Okay. And so obviously it's good. It's got some things I want to change. And then I say, okay, what would this look like for a startup? Let's say it's not entrepreneurs or small business owners. We start with startups or smaller businesses as a co-founder. And it came up with this executive AI co-founder program. I was like, oh, that's cool. There's something in there. So then I said, all right, let's write another deep research prompt for validating this idea and the prices in the marketplace. So there it goes. We got another prompt with all these questions. And by the way, if I haven't said it yet, if you're going to do deep research, do it with AI generated prompts, okay? Really explain what you want, get as many questions as you can. You want to give it techniques to be like, tell me I'm wrong. Look at 5 reasons why this wouldn't work, right? You want to be as like detailed and 360 degrees as possible. Okay, so then I go back here, I get this research report, I copy it, and then I go back to Claude and I say, okay, here it is. Here's the last one. And now I want you to make any adjustments to our offer. So based on this new report, we kind of see if this is good or not. And quite frankly, at this point, we might even want to change the offer completely. But I just decided to leave the offering for now. I think it may have changed the price. It updated the value proposition. Accelerate your startup's implementation in just 90 days. I'll join your founding team as a leader. Building essential infrastructure that increases your valuation and attracts investor attention. So yeah, this is directed at startups. I don't know if that's really the niche I'm thinking about. It might be, but I don't need to figure it out yet. The real point is we're going to keep doing more research. So then I say, all right, compile a markdown, make a report for me. Just give me everything. This offer, the features, benefits. I just need to know everything. And it essentially makes me a sales doc. It's not really a sales doc, but it's a document that has a lot of stuff that's important. Then I just ran this through manually, Notion. And I realized there's some things I had to change. For example, it was talking about, the thing about talking about startups is that, well, Claude just wanted me to build a whole infrastructure with AI, servers and all that. Like, no, that's not what I'm doing. We're using make.com, we're using N8N, we're using Netlify, it's business owners. So that helped me, once again, get deeper into who I'm talking to. So I go back to that list, right? We're not building AI infrastructure. We're implementing AI tools, including AI agents, something like that. Just to get really specific on what it is exactly I want to actually offer alongside what it is people are actually looking for. Niching down. So I made those updates in Notion and I give it back to Claude. And I say, here's some updates. Let's rework the demographic here. Okay, their pain points, dream outcomes, and let's use it in a new deep research prompt. So basically, we expanded the target market. I mean, we've kind of gone in a circle here. From startup to small to medium businesses, I wanted to be clear that this isn't necessarily a startup thing. It doesn't want to exclude startups, but it's not really for like startups, like tech startups. Core deliverable, but I could be wrong on that, by the way. And that only will be found out with time. Like if enough people find my content that are working on startups, maybe they'll want this service. Because that's also where consultancy comes in, right? And part of this offer is we're going to give you a knowledge transference plan. Like we're going to make sure you know how to use everything. Okay, and so then it gave me one last final prompt, and I paste that into Open Deep Research. And now we've got it all here. We've got our final report, complete final report. We click output down there, and I'm going to copy all of this. I've basically got a dedicated deep research base on Notion. I paste that in there and turn that into a toggle. And so now I've got all these different reports in here, just in case I want to refer to them again. And in here, I can go through it and I can, once again, modify it, this and that. So I'm going to go through it and edit it. Here's a really important point. Open source platforms are gaining prominence like N8N or DeFi.ai, enabling small to medium-sized businesses to build AI-powered applications efficiently without starting from scratch. That's exactly the service I want to offer. I want to help businesses use open source solutions and non-open source solutions, depending on the situation, without having to start from scratch, because it's way cheaper that way for the business. And all they got to do is hire someone like myself once. Then they have it. And then you're not paying hundreds of thousands of dollars. For custom AI solutions, market prices typically start around $20,000. So we've got some sources here. The hidden costs of AI implementation in small businesses, that's 2024. So we can check these sources. And once again, I think this is a space that's moving so fast that it's going to be hard to trust that these sources are going to be accurate forever. But for now, we're just going to go with it. If nothing else, I have enough high-level confirmation that this $20,000 price point aligns with market expectations. It's a growing market, which means people are going to want it. There's more people are going to want it. And it sounds like it's going to be a good program. Not to mention I had a call with the guy who said this is a good idea. So I got a little bit of research there. But so the point is, though, is now that I've validated all this, I've got this research report, back to Claude. Here in this chat, it's getting long, okay? And it's gonna stop working soon because it has so much data in here. So I'm gonna write a system prompt. Claude knows what we're working on. I'm gonna say, hey, act as if the executive co-founder in this offer is an AI agent, and write a system prompt for it so that it'll do everything to achieve these objectives aligned in the offer. So there it was. It gave me a whole co-founder system prompt. If I go over to my projects now, I make a executive co-founder program project. And in here, I have a system prompt, project instructions. So I paste that whole prompt that it gave me. So it knows, basically is going to start becoming my executive AI co-founder agent. This is really important. Maybe not yet, but this is going to become the way I run this whole business. And you'll see a month or two down the line when I start making an Eliza OS AI agent for this, you're going to see how important it is to start tuning an agent to start working the way you want it to. So now I take this final research report, and I've already added these other 3 research reports in here. So here in the project knowledge, this is like what your project knows. Here I've got deep research reports. I've got 3 of them. So it's got all that data in here. It doesn't have the 4th one yet. And before I put it in, I'm going to paste that in there, and I'm going to say, does this data conflict with anything in our current project knowledge? Now, this new project on Claude does not have a lot going on in it, but Claude's giving me the stamp of approval on this final research report. It doesn't conflict with anything. We're going to take this deep research reports. I'm going to add another one, add text device, research report number 4. And I'm going to say, analyze, compare, and compile a detailed report of all of our deep research. So now we have a nice little report here. All right, so I copy that. And once again, I'm just going to stick that into the project knowledge. Not necessarily because Claude needs it, but because I just want to have it somewhere. This is our comprehensive analysis. Like I said, I only put 2 competitors in there, but I think it's okay because, to be honest, that competitor, that cohort site, seemed to be kind of the only one that kind of remotely, I don't know. This one kind of felt like the most like, all right, this is kind of what I'm trying to do too. So, boom. So we're here in our project. First, I'm just going to say, craft the high ticket offer, the executive co-founder program, based on all the analysis, okay? Then we're going to perfect the offer, and then we're going to create a sales doc that will turn into a landing page, a sales page, and we're going to create a whole implementation plan for the offer. All right, so let's take a look. Executive AI co-founder program, 90-day AI implementation partnership. Still messed up this cloud computing stuff. So that definitely is the value offer here. This program embeds a seasoned AI leader into your founding team. AI agent bot team, guaranteed deliverables. I like the guarantee. You need milestones. So like any business, you don't know if it's going to be a great offer until you start pitching it to people. So you start offering it. But I think this is a good starting point. We've learned that this is a good price. We've learned that the market wants it. And I really like this down here, the competitive landscape, how we compare. 20 grand versus a traditional consultant could be 50 grand. Development agency would be 100 grand. Accelerator programs like we looked at, 20 to 50 grand. Fractional CTOs you pay monthly, which I kind of might want to explore that too. AI education programs. And so then look, it even has, the value of each of these programs. So I think we got a good offer here. I think it's good. We got FAQs. So this is it. Next thing I'm going to do, which isn't completely necessary, but why not? I'm going to paste this all in here into bolt.new, create a visually stunning sales page for this offer. Use parallax effects, animations, and more to leave a lasting impression. I don't know. So let's see how Bolt does. And here we go. This is what it's all about. Seeing what it creates. What is that image it uses back there? It looks like the Earth at night from space. I don't know if I'll use that, but structured 3-phase implementation. Cool. So it's got our whole implement. Oh, cool. And got some tabs there. I would probably do this a little differently. The deliverables. Great. Success guarantee. This pricing. seems kind of silly because it's the same. There's just a different plan. So I probably haven't changed the way that's shown. FAQ, great. Now, the last thing I would say is it's cool to have an online sales page there, but I think it's also completely acceptable to have this document as a Notion page. And I can literally just copy the link from Notion, publish it live, and then here in the browser, there it goes. I don't like these tags here, but that's okay. Not the end of the world. You could also make a Google Doc. When it comes to actually high-ticket sales documents, there's obviously people that are much more successful in this realm than me, but I've had good success with just a document like this, with a landing page like this. There's so many ways you can do it, because really it's about the relationship you've built with this potential client through your long-form content, through the skill set that you have that you're ready to offer people. So now you have an offer. What's going to happen with it is up to you. You could wait till someone approaches you from your awesome content or your website where you're providing so much value and they say, hey, can you help me with blank? And then you say, yeah, sure, here's the offer. Another option, what you can do is instead of waiting for people to come to you, you start DMing them. You DM them on X, you find their email on YouTube and you say, hey, you come up with a good pitch. Would you like to talk more? And then you send them this document. Now, plenty of business people that can tell you how to do that much better than me. But having done all this deep research combined with your own creative analytical insight into this process, you have something to start with. I hope this was valuable in learning how AI and deep research can help you craft these offers. And if you found value from this video, I really appreciate a like and a subscribe and maybe even a comment to show some engagement with the algorithm. So good luck out there and stay tuned for the new video coming very soon where I show you how to do the data scraping alongside this research through SEO or organic content or whatever marketing you're doing.